Okay, any questions on first lecture? Put in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll pull up the attachment. Okay, fine. That's not the case, then we'll continue. Okay, in last class, at the end of the session, we were discussing the power to suspend or cancellation of authority authorization. So basically, it will have with the pollution control board. I said pollution control board may, if it is an opinion of the holder of the authorization has failed to compile with the any of the conditions of the authorization or with the provisions of this act or these rules, and after giving him a responsible opportunity of being heard and after recording the reasons thereof in writing, cancel or suspend the authorization issued under rule number 6 for such period as it considers necessary in the public interest. So basically what happens, based on the conditions which we got authorization for this hazardous waste, either treatment, either generation or co-processing or pre-processing, recycling, reuse, recovery. So if you are not fulfilling the conditions which they have mentioned during the authorization, they will cancel the order. That is the condition. Okay. Then storage of hazardous waste. So if you see, the occupier of the facility may store the hazardous waste and other waste for a period not exceeding 90 days and shall maintain a record of sale, transfer, storage, recycling, recovery, or co-processing, etc., etc. So basically, the catching point is whatever the waste you are generating, hazardous waste, from the date of generation, it has to dispose within 90 days. Within 90 days, it has to dispose of. So if you provide, the State Pollution Control Board may extend the set period of 90 days in the following cases. So there are some exclusions. You can exceed the 90 days duration as well. One is small generations up to 10 tons per annum, up to 180 days of their annual capacity. So if you're generating per year, it is 10 tons up to 180 days of their annual capacity. So here you can have it for 180 days. And actually users a disposal facility operators up to 180 days of their annual capacity. Then occupier who do not have access to any treatment storage disposal facility in the concerned state, or the waste which is needed to be specially stored for development of process in the recycling, recovery, or co-processing utilization. In any other cases, uh, judicial grounds up to 180 days. So the maximum of generally it is 90 days. Otherwise, you can keep it for 180 days. That is the maximum period you can store. These are the exceptions. Otherwise, you have to dispose within 90 days. So then import and export of hazardous waste, other waste, including hazardous and non-hazardous. The import and export, the transportory movement of hazardous and other waste. The Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change shall be the nodal ministry to deal with the transboundary movement of hazardous and other waste in accordance with the provisions of this country. Department who deals with these imports and exports. Then you see the strategy for this protection. No import of the hazardous waste and other waste from any country in India for disposal shall be permitted. But next, only for the disposal, we are not supposed to take any import. The import of hazardous waste and other waste from any country shall be permitted only for the recycling, recovery, reuse, utilization, including co-processing. So for the disposal, we are not supposed to import any waste. For other activities like recycling, recovery, you can import the waste and you can do processing in India. The import of hazardous waste in Part A of the Schedule 3 may be allowed to actual users with the prior informed consent and exporting country and shall require the permission of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then the import of other waste in Part B of Schedule 3 may be allowed to the actual users in the permission from the MOEF. Then import other waste in Part D of the Schedule 3 will be allowed as per the procedure given in Rule 13 of the note in the set schedules. So we'll see these schedules so that we'll get a better clarity. Then if you see a procedure for this import of waste, so one is the actual users attending to the import or the transit or transboundary movement of hazardous and other waste specified in Part A and Part B of Schedule 3 shall apply in Form 5 along with the documents listed therein to the MOEFC, which means the Ministry of Forest and Environment, Forest and Climate Change for the proposed import, together with the prior informed consent of exporting country in respect of Part A and Schedule 3. For the import of other waste listed in Part B and Schedule 3, the importer shall not require the permission from the Ministry of Environment. However, the importer shall furnish the information in Form 6. This for the hazardous waste, he has to apply. For the import of other waste, he has to need not to get any license, but he can have to give the information in Form 6. And for the importer who is a trader or importing the waste, users shall obtain one-time authorization. Trader, as we have seen in the initially the Form 7, who get the one-time authorization, he is not the actual user, he is just a trader. He will buy from the exporter and he will sell it to the users. He is not going to use the waste at all. He is just a trader. He will buy and sell. That is Form 7. And also a copy of this authorization shall be appended to the Form 6. Along with this Form 6, he have to give this Form 7. Hence, he is a trader. ఎవరైతే ట్రేడర్ ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళు ఈ వన్ టైం ఆథరైజేషన్ అనేది తీసుకోవాలి. Okay. Then even for the export also we have seen again Form 5. Then a treatment, storage and disposal facility for hazardous and other waste. This is another chapter. So where the treatment and storage, disposal facility of hazardous waste, the state government, occupier, operator of the facility or any association of occupiers shall individually or jointly or severely be responsible for identification of the sites for establishing the facility for treatment, storage, and disposal of the hazardous and other waste in the state. And also the operator of common facilities, which means common effluent treatment plants or common waste treatment facilities, occupier or captive facilities, means energy generation facilities, shall design and also set up the treatment, storage, and disposal facility as per the technical guidelines and issued by the Central Pollution Control Board in this regard from time to time, and shall obtain approval from the State Pollution Control Board, design and layout in this regards. So one is only these people, state government, occupier or operator of the facility or treatment facilities or joint facilities, they have to do this treatment, storage, or any other activities. Another way is all these facilities has to get the authorization on the design and the layout of the plant. And the State Pollution Board shall monitor the setting up and also operation of the common or captive treatment, storage, and also disposal of the facility. And the operator of the common facility or occupier, the captive facility, shall be responsible for safe and environmental sound operation. So once it is generated, the disposal for it is their responsibility to they have to dispose the waste. Then the operator of common facility or the occupier hazardous and other waste form 3. So as I mentioned, form 3 is the record of waste generated. Then the operator of the common facility or occupier or captive plant, they have to file returns to the Pollution Control Board 30th of June of the following financial year. Then packaging and labeling. So packaging and labeling, as we see in the initial class, first class, there we have Form 8, which is the hazardous waste labeling on the containers. So whenever you are transporting your waste from your facility to the disposal or any recycling facility or recovery facility, those containers has to be labeled with this Form 8. Then transportation of hazardous and other waste. The transport of hazardous waste and other waste shall be accordance with these specific rules. In the sense, it has to be packed in such a way that it is not going to contaminate. And also they have to fill the manifest Form 10 and then Form 8 and also along with the Form 9, which is a trump card. In case of any emergency, we will the transport how to handle such emergencies. The occupier shall provide the transporter with the relevant information Form 9 regarding the hazardous nature of the waste and also measures to be taken in case of an emergency and shall be label the hazardous and other waste containers in Form 8. In Form 9, which is going to be the transport information, which is the trump card, and Form 8 will be the hazardous waste label. Then manifest. So as I mentioned, Form 10 is the manifest for the movement document of hazardous waste to be used within the country only. So if you see, there are total 7 colors. Now this hazardous waste, it is became an online actually. So you will generate the manifest in the online itself. It is completely online monitoring now. So if you see the colors of these copies, one is white to be forwarded to the sender, to the State Pollution Control Board with the signing of the all 7 copies, and yellow retained by the sender. So the white copy will go to the Pollution Control Board. The yellow copy will be retained by the sender, which means who is sending the waste. And the pink will be retained to the receiver who is receiving the waste. He will keep this copy. And orange is handed over to the transporter. This copy is for the transporter who is taking the waste from the facility. And green sent by the receiver to the PCB. Either green copy will be collected by the receiver and he will send it to pollution control board. And blue to be sent by the receiver to the sender, saying that I have received your waste and we are doing recycling or whatever the intended agreement between the generator and the receiver. And gray to be sent by the receiver to the pollution control board of the sender in case of sender is in other state. If he's in another state, he's taking from the waste from a different state, this copy will be sent behalf of the sender. So basically, the white copy and also the green and gray copy with the pollution control board, the yellow copy with the sender, and pink will be with the receiver, who is recycling or taking the waste for processing, and orange will be with the transporter. Okay, and again the blue will come back to the sender once the treatment is done. So sender will have 2 copies, then transporter will have 1 copy, pollution control board will have 2 copies. Okay, this is how it is practiced previously. Nowadays it is completely online system. So according to the returns we have seen in previous rules also. So form 3 will be the records and form 4 will be the returns we have to file to the board. Then accident reporting, we have seen form 11. In case of any accident, it has to be reported using form 11. Again, appeals, as we seen form 12. Any person who agrees the order of suspension or cancellation of refusal of any authorization, he can appeal against those orders by using form 12. Okay. So now we'll see the schedule. So if you see the schedule 1, here we have a list of processes generating hazardous waste. So processes in the sense of the manufacturing processes or activities. And the right side column 3, we have the type of waste which will generate out of this process. Basically, whenever you are getting this hazardous waste authorization, by using these rules, you have to identify this specific clauses 1.1. Based on that, you have to fill the detail. So as I mentioned, spent oil or used oil, it is 5.1. These are the various activities. So you will refer and you will fill the application. Then we have schedule 2 list of waste constituents with the concentration limits. Based on the leachable concentration limit, toxic characteristics of leaching procedure, soluble threshold limit concentration. This is all for mg per liter. These all liquids comes under class A based on the concentrations. Same way we have for class B. Then class C of hazardous characteristics based on the flammables, the presence in the flammables and also the corrosives, and the class C will be the class C3 will be the reactive or explosive kind of materials, and class C4 is toxic, and C5 substance waste liable to the spontaneous combustion, and C6 will be fall under the substances which in contact with the water emit flammable gases like oxidizing substances or reactive substances where it will generate flammable gases. Then oxidizing organic peroxides, poisons, etc. etc. We have the other classes. Then schedule 3 part A, it is the list of waste applicable for import and export with prior information consent. So these are the waste we can import and export. This is the list. These are the vessel numbers. Then part B, list of waste applicable for import and export and not requiring prior information. Part A, which is required the prior information to the central pollution, MOF, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and this part B, which is not required. This is all just for information. You need not to by heart this, but you can write in your answer in case of any question comes in of all this detail. And part D, list of waste applicable for import and export without permission from the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. You can export without any permission from MOEFC. So these are the list of commonly recyclable hazardous waste. We can go for recycling common waste. And Schedule 5, which is the specifications of used oil suitable for recycling. So if I say used oil, so it has to meet this requirements, then only it will go for recycling. And part B, specified fuel derived from the waste oil. Then Schedule 6, hazardous and other waste prohibited for the import. So these are the waste we are not supposed to import from any country, which is Schedule 6. Then Schedule 7, list of authorities and corresponding duties. So here we have duties of MOEF and Central Pollution Control Board and the state government and union territories, state pollution control boards, and also Port Authority. Okay, this we'll see. So you will get sometimes duties with respect to this waste authorization. This we can discuss. So one is Ministry of Forest and Environment, Climate Change. What is their corresponding duties with respect to this waste management rules? One is identification of hazardous and other waste. So based on the nature or any the new versions or any new characteristics of waste. And permission to exporters of hazardous and other waste. And permission to importers. Permission to transit of hazardous and other waste through India, and promote environmental and sound management of hazardous and other waste, sponsoring of training and awareness programs. So this MOEF is mostly giving authorization to the importers and exporters, as well as identification of new varieties of hazardous waste, and also giving trainings. Then Pollution Control Board, CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, coordination of activities with the state boards, again conducting training courses, and recommend the standards and specification for treatment, disposal, and other digits recommend procedures, inspection of facilities, and sector-specific documentation to identify waste for inclusion in these rules. So the sector-specific means based on the automobile sector, energy sector, chemical sector, medical sector, based on the sectors to identify the waste, they will make sector specific documentation. Prepare up-to-date guidelines and SOPs for recycling and reusing co-processing, and to prepare annual review report, and also management of hazardous waste and any other functions assigned by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And comes to state government or union territories. So again, identification of common hazardous waste treatment, storage, and disposal facilities. So where they can establish and assess environmental impact assessments and reports and recovery, and decision of approval of site, otherwise acquire site or inform operator of facilities, and notification to the sites who are not following the requirements or not meeting the requirements of the guidelines which they are given, and publish periodically an inventory of all potential and existing disposal sites in the state and union territory. So here they will inform the inventory of disposal facilities, how much they have collected, how much they have disposed, how much they have treated and all, they are going to discuss. Then State Pollution Control Board or pollution control committees constituted under the Water Prevention and Control Pollution Act. Again, inventories of hazardous water waste, grant the renewal of authorization, the monitoring of compliance of various provisions and the conditions of the permission, including condition of permission for issue, and examining the applications for imports substituted by the importers and same to the Ministry of Climate Change. Implementation of programs to prevent or reduce, minimize the generation of hazardous and other waste, and action against the violations of these rules, and any other functions under these rules assigned by the Ministry of Forest and climate change from time to time. These are the duties. And Directorate General of Trade Development Regulations, grant of license for import of hazardous and other waste, the refusal of license. These directors are approval and cancellation of licenses. Then Port Authority, one is what they do is uh, verify the documents, inform the ministry and forest and climate change. Release then release the waste permitted for import and exports, whether it is required, and to train the officials on the provisions of these instruments in the analysis of hazardous and other waste. Take the actions against the exporters or importers for violation under this Indian Ports Acts and Works 1908 and Custom Acts 1962. These are the specific duties as an importer they will perform. Okay. Then Schedule 8, list of documents for the verification by the customs for import of waste specified in Part D of the Schedule 3. As I mentioned, Form 6, they will do for the movement. The basic documents they will verify. Then these are the forms we already discussed in this class. Okay. We are done with this topic. If we have any questions, we can discuss. We have another 9 minutes. Any questions? Yeah. Happy weekend. We'll join you next class.